What would you think if I told you to be like the wolf? To most people would sort of think that, oh, I'd come out fighting, I'd defend my cubs with my life, or, I'd get my fangs out and I'd be so aggressive. When I was a child, I was given these books called the Farseer Trilogy, and they're written by Robin Hobb, and she's done over 15 books that have followed on from this series, and it has been absolutely amazing. It was one of the biggest gifts in my life, and I actually learned a lot about life from completely fictional books about dragons and magic and so many other things. But one thing that I learned very early on in my teenage years came from that book, and it was about a wolf. And interesting story. Hopefully it captures your interest. But basically in these books, the main character Fitz has this magic called the wit, and that gives him the ability to communicate telepathically with his wolf. And as far-fetched and ridiculous as that sounds, they have an amazing life together, and the adventures are phenomenal. But one thing that really stuck with me, and I've shared it a few times, but I really wanted this to be part of the Love Yourself Healthy journey, because it is such a huge part of who I've become and how I view life. So it's just one section of one of the books in the Farseer trilogy, and Fitz, the main character, he's sitting inside his log cabin. He's just finished a lovely big meal. He's got food left over. He's warming his feet by the fire. He's cozy and warm. He's so comfortable, and he could just drift off to sleep at any moment. And he just thinks this is what life is meant to be. Isn't this wonderful? And in that moment, he just reaches out to his wolf and just starts to have a chat. And at the same time, in another part of, I suppose, the wilderness that they live in, the forest, the wolf is out, and it's the middle of winter, and it's teeming down rain, and his fur is soaked to his skin, and he's shivering, and he's just doing his wolf trudge, just his head down, his nose to the ground, just trudge, 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 or the trot, the wolf trot. And he can go for miles and miles and miles and days at that pace, at that trot. There's nothing about for him to catch and eat. Everything else is hiding in its own little burrows and dens, and no one is going to be poking their head out in this weather. So he has no shelter. He's a long way from home. He's cold, he's hungry, and he has nothing to do but to continue the wolf trot. And Fitz says to him, well, why don't you come here? I'm warm, I'm cozy, I have extra food, you could lay by the fire, you could warm yourself, you could dry your fur, and all these wonderful things, and you could sleep in my happy home. And the wolf says, but why? And Fitz is like, well, why not? And the wolf says, but why would I change where I am? And Fitz ponders on that, and it makes me ponder as well. And the wolf starts to say, it's all life. Humans, and we do this, humans think that in order to be satisfied and to be happy with our lives, we need to have a full belly, and we need to be comfortable, and we need to have a shelter over our heads, and the temperature needs to be just right, and we need to be so content and happy with life in order to feel satisfied. But that wolf felt satisfied in his moment. He was doing his slow trot, and he would have been starving and cold, but he wouldn't have changed it for a simple out. It was part of life, and it was just part of who he was. It's just part of the life of a wolf. And he doesn't understand how humans think that everything has to be absolutely perfect in order for them to be satisfied. And I've just always loved that part of that story. And as you can tell, it stuck with me. I almost know it word for word. I've only read it maybe 15 times. Because I meet so many people in life who just can't ever find satisfaction in their life. And we are so blessed. We have so much around us. We have so much opportunity, but people just can't find that satisfaction. So when I say to you, be like the wolf, maybe just find satisfaction in what you've got. I suppose it relates to the gratitude exercises that we've been working on. Be grateful for what you have and for the opportunities. The wolf knows that he will eat again. He knows that the rain will stop. He knows his fur will dry, and he knows he has a warm den to go home to. He just has to get there. And that in enough, knowing what he has available to him, is enough to satisfy him. Here in Australia, and particularly in Brisbane, we are so lucky. We just have beautiful sunny days with cool breezes. We turn on the tap in our kitchen and warm, clean water comes out. We all have a roof over our head. All of our children get to go to school for free. We are so lucky, and we should have so much satisfaction in our lives. So when I tell you to be like the wolf, perhaps look for ways that you can make the most of the moments that you do have. Instead of getting frustrated that you didn't get to the gym to do your workout, just do it in your kitchen. You have the opportunity there. Or know that when the opportunity comes up, you're going to take it. I hope the story has resonated with you. It is something that I've carried with me a lot, and I think it's something that I really want to teach my children. I'm going to encourage them to read those books. It's funny how something completely fictional has taught me a lot about life.